Hi everybody, this is Mr. Davis. I've been asked by Garvin to go ahead and go through one of these stories, and this is one that appealed to me because I do have a bit of a connection to where it's from. So if you guys are willing to sit back and put your feet up and just gather round, we'll have story time with Mr. Davis. This story is Serena from Marianas Island Legends, Myth and Magic, retold by Marcy Flood. Serena. An ancient grand mermaid sits on top of her pearly throne, brushing her long white hair. Upon her lap perch two little mergirls, their sparkling tails twisting and twirling. Oh, Auntie Serena, tell us how the mermaids first became. Haven't you heard that story enough? I must have told it to you 100 times already, the ancient one chuckles. Oh, please, Auntie Serena, will be oh so good if you will tell us of great grand mermaid Serena, your mama, the youngest pleads. Her large charcoal black eyes fill with shy tears. Her black hair settles around her face. A butterfly fish peeps out from behind her ear and looks at the old mermaid reproachfully. All right, sit down and behave. I'll tell you the tale of Serena, laughs the Grand Mermaid. Looking at the two little girls with their rapt eyes, she slowly nods, and so the story begins. On the faraway island of Guam lived Serena, a graceful Chamorro girl. Serena had silky hair and big, dark eyes that surveyed her world in constant wonder. Her face was round and lovely, her hair was long and black. When Serena laughed, her face smoothed into bliss, and it seemed that nothing could be as sweet and innocent as this young girl. As lovely as Serena was, she was also very careless. She was constantly reminded by her mother to work hard. Serena was good at weaving and could cook savory fish and find the most fragrant flowers and vines. Her flaw was that her whole self was always yearning for the water. Serena would start her work weaving, cooking, or fishing, but as soon as her thoughts would turn to the river, she would run off and play in the cool water, her hair glistening in the warm tropical sun. Her mother was very patient with Serena and usually excused those errors. She was fond of Serena and knew that her beautiful daughter was blessed with the naivety of youth. However, one day her mother was in a particularly bad mood. She had much work to do. Her cousin was preparing a huge feast, and the mother's job was to cook heaps of tapioca, fish, and coconut crab. All of Serena's brothers and sisters were busy. Serena was splashing in the river when her youngest sister came down to fetch water. Serena, you better get up there and help. Mama needs you. She is already angry because she can't find you, her sister warned. She giggled at Serena's nonchalant glance, then bent to dip her urn in the cool water. Once the vessel was filled to the brim, she gave Serena an endearing tap on her shoulder, but Serena brushed her away. Serena's sister ran back up the shaded path to their thatched dwelling. She knew her mother would be angry. The water looked especially nice, Serena thought. I will have one quick swim before wasting the whole day cooking. Serena swam and then reluctantly trudged to her house. Inside, her mother was shouting at her brother to get breadfruit from the auntie across the bay. Serena, there you are. I've been looking all over for you. Come, take this basket from your brother and fill it with breadfruit from aunties. Hurry and come directly back. Her mother looked stern and angry. Do not swim. Serena took the basket, and she raced from her house down the trail to her auntie's. Her feet padded quickly along the soft, sandy path until she reached a small resting hut that looked out over the river. There Serena sat down and waited for her heartbeat to slow, and she took huge breaths of the warm tropical air. Suddenly, a flock of birds screeched. Serena looked up. Right in front of her, the birds dipped and dove into the water, beckoning her to play. The sun shone off the clear water, sparkling like laughter. Fearless fish jumped and let the bright sun leap off their silver scales. Oh, if I only play a moment, then it won't matter, Serena said to herself. She ached to step into the water. She put down her basket and ran to the glittering waves. They lifted her up and carried her out to deeper slopes where her feet barely touched the sandy bottom. Serena splashed and swam. She didn't notice that the birds had flown away. Serena was diving from a small rock when she looked up with alarm. The sun had disappeared behind the horizon and dusk was coating the island. Serena was very afraid of the night spirits that might leap out of the river. She sped up the beach to her empty basket. In the dim light, it looked emptier than ever. A frightened, hopeless tear slid down her cheek. Mama will be so mad when she finds out I didn't get the breadfruit. She needed it for the cooking. Now she will be so disappointed in me." Serena cried. Her soft, whimpering voice received no pity from the night as it spread its lightless cloak over the sad girl. Fear of the darkness soon caused her to forget her woes. Serena turned her back to the river and darted up to her house. At first she cowered in the dark, but then she tiptoed up to the doorway when she saw the branch of the flame tree tremble. Was that Tatamanoa about to snatch her? "Serena!" Her mother's face loomed out of the darkness. Her angry eyes burned with wrath. "Shame, shame, shame on you! Careless, idle child! Your own sister of 6 can do better." "Serena, shame! I had to walk all the way over to your auntie's house myself for the breadfruit. Serena, if you ever go in the water again, you will become an ugly fat fish!" her mother screamed. Serena knelt and trembled in a corner, her godmother's hand on her shoulder. "Please no," Serena wailed when she heard her mother's curse. Serena leapt from the house and began to streak down the path towards the water. "Wait, Serena, wait!" the godmother called. Tears coursed down the godmother's wrinkled face. She knew the power of a mother's curse. If Serena touched the water, she would become a fish with slimy gray scales, staring eyes, and an ugly, wordless, gaping mouth. "O spirits in your haunts, hear me! Save Serena! Let her not become a disgusting fish. Save her beautiful face and her joyful spirit. Let the power of this curse be diminished. She is but a foolish child. Help her!" the godmother prayed. Tears streamed down her mother's cheeks, and her body shook with sobs. Too late she realized what she had said. Serena stopped at the water's edge. She saw the full orange moon rising above the distant horizon. Not a sound echoed from the watery silence. Serena wept in fear and pain, and she didn't want to leave her family, her mother, her godmother. She didn't want to leave the soft grasses and the waving palms, but her whole body needed the water. Its songs are hypnotic rhythms were part of her as much as the fragrant flowers and tender breezes of her tropical birthplace. Serena knew in her heart that she could not survive a day without swimming freely in the river. As her godmother was chanting and her mother was weeping, Serena ran into the water. She dove from the shallows and swam down the river until she reached the deep sapphire depths of the ocean. At once she began to change. She felt her legs binding, twisting, and turning, but not into ugly gray scales. Instead, an iridescent tail stretched down from her waist. Sobs shook her body, but her clear voice and beauty remained unchanged. Serena looked one last time at her beloved island. She whispered her last goodbye, a call that her mother heard with sadness and her godmother heard with painful but understanding smiles. Some say to this day Serena's whispered call continues to echo across the vast rippling sea. "And so our story ends," whispered the old mermaid to her 2 sleepy mergirls. "What a sad story. I like it, but it makes me cry," murmurs one, with her curling up in a pile of soft seaweed. "I think so too. Too bad it's only pretend," sighs the other. The Grand Mermaid smiles at her 2 yawning granddaughters. "Legend is the only truth, my child."
Hello everyone, this is Garvin. I'm jumping in here at the end of the video. I just want to say thank you for watching and listening. I hope you found this video informative and entertaining. I also want to say thank you to Mr. Davis for reading this video. This video was chosen by our patrons who also voted to make this video available to the wider public. So thank you guys for that. I also want to give a special thanks to Big Steve, my biggest supporter. If you did enjoy this video, please leave a like, a comment, or even subscribe, as all of these help me in my eternal struggle against the Dread Lord algorithm. Terror be on his name. Next week, I will return to the mermaids of Europe. Until then, I hope you take care of yourself, take care of each other, and of course, keep reading.